Okay, let's jump in. Welcome to this deep dive. We're looking at something really, really important today, based on the sources you shared with us. That deep link between your mental and your physical health.
Yeah, it's crucial. And our aim today, really drawing from this material, is to get why that old school idea of the mind and body being separate entities well, it doesn't hold up anymore.
It really doesn't.
These sources make it clear they're constantly talking to each other, influencing each other. It's completely bidirectional.
Totally a two-way street. And get ready, because we're going to explore just how connected they are. Looking at how your thoughts, your emotions, they aren't just abstract things.
No.
They can literally change your body's chemistry. And we'll look into that gut feeling. The sources suggest it's maybe more literal than you think.
Absolutely.
And honestly, why taking care of your mental state is just as key for your physical health as, diet or exercise.
Exactly. And what really struck me in the material was the level of detail on the how, the actual mechanisms.
Right. Not just that they're linked, but how they're linked.
Precisely. So take stress, for example. The sources talk a lot about hormones, like cortisol.
Ah, cortisol, yeah.
So chronic high levels, maybe from ongoing mental stress, they don't just leave you feeling wired or anxious. They can actually interfere with your digestion, weaken your immune response.
Okay, so real physical effects.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's not just stress hormones. The articles also dug into neurotransmitters. Things like serotonin, dopamine chemicals we often just associate with mood, right?
Yeah, purely mental stuff, usually.
Well, the research shows that when these are out of balance, it's not only your emotional well-being that takes a hit, there are direct links to physical symptoms, too.
So, depression isn't just feeling low, it has physical ripples.
That's what the sources indicate, yeah. Which brings us to something really critical they emphasized. Inflammation.
Inflammation, okay.
Psychological stress, the kind often linked with depression or anxiety, seems to significantly ramp up systemic inflammation in the body. And this chronic inflammation, as the material laid out, is seen as a major bridge connecting that psychological distress to serious physical problems, especially things like heart disease.
Wow. So your immune system gets kind of stuck in overdrive.
Sort of, yeah. It's like it's constantly on high alert, and that can eventually damage healthy tissues. So the stress from, say, ongoing anxiety isn't just making you feel bad mentally.
Right.
It's literally setting the stage biologically for physical illness down the road through that inflammatory pathway.
That's quite direct. And what about the gut connection you mentioned?
Oh, yeah, the gut-brain axis.
Yeah.
Huge focus in the sources. It explains so clearly why anxiety often manifests as, stomach aches or digestive upset.
That nervous stomach feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's this incredibly complex network linking your gut and brain. And get this, the material suggests your gut actually produces a large amount of serotonin.
Really? That mood chemical.
Yeah. So psychological stress can trigger very real gut symptoms. And conversely, problems in the gut, like chronic digestive issues, can send signals back up to the brain that fuel anxiety or even panic.
So they're constantly influencing each other, not just in your head, not just in your gut.
It's a continuous loop.
What about the whole fight or flight thing? Does that play in?
Definitely. The sources detailed that too. When you're mentally distressed, your body gears up for perceived danger. Heart rate climbs, blood pressure goes up, muscles tense.
Useful if you actually need to run.
For a short burst, yes. But the research pointed out that chronic activation, triggered by everyday mental stressors, deadlines, worries, conflicts, causes significant wear and tear.
So it just exhausts the system over time.
It really does. This constant state of alarm taxes everything.
Which makes sense then, why the sources drew these direct lines between chronic mental health conditions like persistent depression or anxiety and a higher risk for major physical diseases.
Like heart disease, stroke.
Yeah, diabetes, metabolic problems, even things like IBS or chronic pain, where the physical cause can be elusive. It's not just that they happen together.
No, the research suggests actual causal links through these biological mechanisms we've been talking about. Inflammation, hormones, the nervous system.
Right.
And beyond the internal biology, the sources also touched on behavior, which is important.
How so?
Well, think about it. When you're struggling mentally, maybe feeling down or anxious, are you more likely to get good sleep?
Probably not.
Or stick to healthy eating? Or feel motivated to exercise?
Less likely, for sure. Maybe reach for comfort food, skip the gym.
Exactly. Or maybe increase substance use. And these behaviors, driven by the mental state, obviously impact physical health directly.
And that just feeds back, right? Creating this awful cycle. Poor mental health leads to behaviors that worsen physical health.
Which then makes the mental health piece even harder to manage. It's a really challenging loop to get caught in.
Yeah.
The sources even mention psychosomatic effects, where psychological distress pretty directly causes or worsens physical symptoms. Think tension headaches that won't quit, or maybe skin issues flaring up when stressed, even if tests don't show a clear physical trigger.
It just underlines how deeply connected it all is.
At every level.
Yeah. So wrapping up our dive into these sources, what's the big takeaway? I mean, it seems overwhelmingly clear.
It really is. Mental and physical health aren't separate things. They're one integrated system.
Right. And trying to treat one without considering the other is like fighting with one hand tied behind your back. You can get stuck in those cycles.
Exactly. But what's really fascinating and hopeful that came through in the material is the potential here. Addressing your mental health isn't just about feeling better emotionally, though that's huge.
It's more than that.
It's actually a powerful strategy, maybe one we don't emphasize enough, for preventing and managing serious chronic physical diseases. It can fundamentally shift your overall health trajectory.
That leads to a really important question then for you listening based on all this. How might some of your own physical symptoms, maybe those nagging ones, be linked to your mental state in ways you haven't really thought about before?
Or maybe flipping it, how could paying more attention to your emotional well-being actually be a vital part of managing a physical condition you're already dealing with? Something to consider.